For my research, I looked at the migration of Illinoisans to Iowa, and this is a personal issue to me because I just recently moved to Iowa from Illinois, and I wanted to look at why there's this trend of people going from Illinois to Iowa. And the first thing I did was look at basic economic principles. So Illinois' unemployment rate right now is 9.5%, and when it peaked in about 2009 after the housing crisis, it was at 11% or over 11%. So um, the Illinois economy wasn't that good, and a lot of people didn't have jobs, and so they're looking for a new place to go. However, Illinois has a pretty nice salary with the median salary being $45,000, 231. And we'll see in a second when we look at Iowa that that's a little bit higher than Iowa's. But this is offset by the higher housing costs and the costs of living in Illinois compared to Iowa. For example, the average housing cost is $221,432 in Illinois, and this is including the whole state. If you moved to central Illinois, where I was teaching before moving here to Iowa, housing prices were pretty comparable to Iowa, but if you're in the Chicago area, in the suburbs, you're going to pay a lot more for housing there, and so it's even more expensive in that region. Also, gas prices are, when I was doing this research 3 weeks ago, we're at 384 then, and they are, now prices have gone down, but in the suburbs, this is usually around what the price would be. If you went to the actual city of Chicago, it'd be about 20 cents more, around $4 a gallon. So gas prices are a lot more expensive. Electricity prices, heating prices are all a lot more expensive in Illinois, and this all adds up. And then on top of all this, you have a higher tax rate in Illinois, with about 10% of all your income that you're going to taxes through flat rate taxes, through income tax, through housing taxes, or property taxes. And so you'll usually spend about $4,512 in taxes to the Illinois government. And I didn't even discuss in my paper the issues with the Illinois government, because that's a whole other topic. That could be a whole other research paper. But one other nice thing about Iowa is there isn't all this drama every week on what's going on in the Illinois legislature, because um, there's a lot of problems there with corruption within it, and them not changing, trying to fix problems, because Illinois is one of the top 5 states that's in the worst condition. So they need to start fixing some things, but they're not getting things in motion. So that would be another reason why people are moving from Illinois to Iowa, because the situation just isn't that good. Now, Iowa's economy, on the other hand, is a lot better. The unemployment's only at 5%. And it peaked at about 6.3% or so in 2008, and it's gone down steadily since then. Salary is a little less in Illinois, but the cost of living is a lot less. The average housing price is about $150,000, and that means rent costs are also going to be cheaper. So if you can't afford a house, you can at least rent for a lot cheaper in Iowa than in Illinois. Gas prices are about 30 cents less, which makes it nice, and it's nice that they're continuing to go down right now, along with electricity costs, water costs, heating costs are all going to be lower here in Iowa. And then taxes are also slightly lower by about 0.5% or so, but that adds up. It's almost $1,000 less in taxes here than in Illinois. And one difference in the tax structure here in Iowa than in Illinois is a straight flat tax for income, and Iowa's is graduated. And so if you're a really low income earner, you're only going to pay about 0.33 of a percent or 0.37 of a percent of your income. So you're paying a very small amount of your income compared to having to pay the flat tax of, I want to say it was 5% or so on your income. So Iowa is a nice, much nicer place to live. Just cost-wise, it's a lot cheaper. You can get a lot more for a lot less. And if you're worrying about debt or um, or trying to start off, it's a great place to move to. And then the people that are moving here, unfortunately for my statistics, I could only find it between 95 and 2000, which takes out all the recent events that have happened with the recession and all that, but between 95 and 2000, 27,000 Caucasians, white people moved to Iowa from Illinois, and it was a net income of about 2,500 migrants. African Americans are significantly less than the white population moving, but there's about a 500 net gain in that between these years, and then Hispanics have 1,700 coming across the border from Illinois, and their net gain of 500. And actually, African Americans were a net gain of 1,000. I misspoke there. And the only minority group that Iowa lost to Illinois was Asians, and I don't remember the exact numbers there, but it was only a couple hundred, and there weren't a lot moving, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But one of the big things I noticed with the people that are moving is, one, you've got a lot of African Americans moving from the city because housing projects were being taken down, and they wanted to escape the gang violence in the city. And so they'd move to Iowa to try to escape that, and they're moving to places like Iowa City, Waterloo, Cedar Rapids, all the major cities in the eastern part of the state to try to escape the problems of Chicago. But the other big group is college students. The price of tuition at Illinois in Champaign, the University of Illinois in Champaign, or Urbana, is almost the same as the out-of-state tuition cost of Iowa and ISU. So students go, well, I can either go to Illinois, where it's much tougher to get into, and pay in-state costs, or I can go to Iowa, pay out-of-state costs for 2 years, and then get residency and pay in-state costs for the next 2 years, and it's a lot cheaper, and it's the same education. And so it was interesting to see that a lot of Illinois students are going to Iowa or going to other states in the region, and that was a cool thing I found there. And then the last part of this is just this map that got me inspired by this. This came out in the Gazette in December, showing the migration movements of Iowans going to the states around it. And the thing that shocked me was the only state that is sending in more people to Iowa than Iowa is sending to it is Illinois. And so this is what kind of got me on it. And you can see we have 13,000, over 13,000 people moving from Illinois to Iowa in 2011, and that's almost half of what had moved between 95 and 2000. So the numbers, I would be interested to see what they were like in the past 5-10 years of the migration movements, but I unfortunately couldn't find anything like that on it. Well, I hope you enjoyed this presentation here, and if you have any questions, you can shoot me an email or anything like that.